all I have is my golden retriever and my boyfriend, and there are only so many stories I can tell about them, or I'm allowed to tell about them.
In my experience, that BizX members tend to be business leaders who
Yes.
are inherently creative and enjoy sending a good lead your way or for your way.
Or did you hear what my son said?
No.
Don't yell. Stop yelling.
So I'm not yelling.
Yeah, you're not meaning to, but it's just
I'm not yelling.
booming
It's just I'm
voice.
loud. Well, good afternoon, and welcome to, I think it's episode 6. And today we have our very own, from the BizX team, Michael Enberg, who's a strategic business advisor, and Emily Rains, who is our community manager and marketing specialist. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
You've seen a couple of these before, and you've been over there, and actually, you know, this whole thing, actually, Mike, I think a lot of this came together with your relationship with IM3 Media and Jay, and so here we are. I remember you coming to me and saying, I got this idea to do a podcast.
I think it's great to not only talk to members and get their terrific stories about BizX, but it's an opportunity to sort of meet Emily and ask you questions too, Bob.
Yeah, well, welcome. And then Emily is one of our newest teammates, and you've just been with us now. How long?
Month and a half, almost 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. So here, while we start with Mike, why don't we give our listeners or viewers just a quick background? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I've been at BizX for 2 years.
Yeah.
And native to Kirkland and Bellevue, and have been involved in networks through most of my career. Networks are great, as you know, as I think the BizX world understands, that networks allow for companies or organizations to benefit from the strength of other companies and organizations. That, you know, the idea that 1 + 1 = 11, as I've heard you say, Bob. I love networks, and BizX, I think, it's been wonderful to see now from the inside, because I used to work at a member of BizX. I get to see now from the inside how the network actually works. It's fascinating.
So beyond the network, let's put business aside for a second.
Yeah.
Tell us about you. So you've got, I know you run 6 marathons, right?
Yeah,
Just recently completed one. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about, you've got kids and pets.
I do. I have a wife
hobbies.
and 2 kids, and hobbies include running and hiking and mountain biking. I like to do the outdoor thing.
Yeah.
I've been involved with the Boy Scouts for many years as both a scout master and a leader in Boy Scouts.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was a scout master for a Bellevue-based troop for 5 years.
Okay.
Took them on wonderful hikes, really circumnavigated Mount St. Helens, climbed Mount Rainier.
Oh, wow. With
Yeah.
the Boy Scouts?
Yeah.
How old were those kids?
The kids were at the older, 17, 18, and
Okay.
we did it through a mountaineering guiding group, and it was fantastic, just tremendously exciting to stand on top of Mount
I'm
Rainier.
going to make a note here that Uncle Mike's going to take me and the kids out. And kids, we're climbing Mount Rainier.
Yeah, that's right. Come with me, guys. And also worked in the travel industry for many years.
That's right.
So was lucky enough to travel around the world, both in a sales capacity and leading groups, travel agent groups.
Cool.
To Antarctica and up the Amazon River and to the Arctic.
That's great. Well, we're lucky to have you, Mike, and from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
Home of the Braves. We've got Emily Rains joining us, and you come from, actually also from a former member of ours and media background, and I think you're very comfortable. This is very,
so normal to me. Yeah. So like we said, I've been with BizX for 2 months. Before that, I was in radio for over a decade.
Yeah.
Came to Seattle for radio about 5 years ago. And in doing radio, working with country music, I loved country music, still do. It's still my passion. I will be at all the concerts. But I realized that a lot of radio and being on the radio is look at me. You have to be an influencer. You have to point the finger inward. And that's fine. But all I have is my golden retriever and my boyfriend, and there are only so many stories I can tell about them, or I'm allowed to tell about them. And I just really enjoyed pointing the finger outward. I get to do some PSA shows, and I realized focusing on other people is a lot more fun. I like to ask the questions. I was usually in your seat, Bob, so it was a lot more fun that way. And realized once I left radio that I did want to promote someone else other than myself. And I found BizX, and I found the Barter, and I fell in love with the idea and have now become a part of the family, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, welcome aboard. And so you're from Atlanta, you live here, golden retriever, boyfriend.
Yep. West Seattle.
Country music.
It's funny you said home of the Braves. Growing up, probably the first 5-6 years of my life, I thought the national anthem was for the Braves because that's the only place I heard it. Home of the Braves at the end.
They built that.
Yeah, I heard it somewhere else, and I was like, "What is this? This is the Braves song. What do you mean?" So that's some Georgia education for you.
I was going to say you missed civics class,
right? Yeah. Well, that's what they teach you in the South. But yeah, so I have a boyfriend of almost 4 years, and we live in West Seattle, and absolutely love it here and aren't going anywhere. So
great.
Yeah.
Well, and beyond, welcome for those. We have a lot of BizX members outside the Seattle area too, and we'd love to have you come visit sometime.
Yes.
Lots of things, exciting things to do here. And then your role now, coming on as a marketing specialist, very much is helping feature and highlight all these members with what's going on through different things.
Yeah.
And I think we just kind of came to this realization, I think a few weeks ago organically, but, moving forward, kind of introducing you as the community manager, spokesperson, the representative, the voice of BizX to our members.
Well, if I'm going to be posting on the social media and sending out the emails and my name's out there, then come on and say hey, because it's me now. But yeah, I think, like you said, highlighting members, there are so many cool things in BizX that even now, 2 months in, I'm saying, oh, I didn't know we had that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So if I, on the inside, don't know, let me tell everyone so that everyone can know.
Yeah.
And I think there are going to be a lot of opportunities like that where we can let the members know on these really cool things.
Yeah. So what's the, Mike, you talked about networks beyond that. If we were to talk about, BizX is about small business.
Yep.
And we say our purpose at BizX is to help these small businesses grow. We think it's the pillar. How do you, what's the part of what we do every day that excites you on the mission?
And I unhesitatingly, I say it's the opportunity to be creative. I think what BizX has a lot of different things that happens. That's a lot of moving plates in a sense. But at its core, it creates relationships and it creates opportunities for people to work together. And it creates opportunities for organizations to benefit from BizX. There's a creative component of BizX. Every day is different.
Yeah.
Every time I come to work, there's something new.
Yeah.
And it almost always involves creating something that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
That excites me every day.
That's cool. What about you, Emily?
I would have to say, to me, the most exciting thing is we've started this 5-star club where members rate other members. And to see someone take time, how often do you leave a Yelp review when it's positive? Like never. It's only the negatives. And so to see our members say, I liked this enough, I'm going to go back in, share my experience, share why I liked it, give them a 5-star. And so we're highlighting both of those and putting them on our social medias and saying, look at this great job. And thank you for giving a rating. And so when I see those, to me, it's the most exciting part because I know they're happy both ends, and they took the initiative to do it themselves.
It's funny you mentioned that's one of the things we looked at. I remember putting this together. So the cool thing about BizX reviews is they're verified. So you only review when you actually do a transaction, and the majority of the reviews that we see are really good. And it really comes back to this idea of BizX being this community where the members are really helping each other. Right. And you've heard this saying that people talk about where it's like, hey, help a small business, buy from a small business. I feel like that's what we live and that's what we do all the time. So kind of going back to that, really, again, that community where the network, they're lifting each other up and referring each other and, not only transacting with each other. So it's it's funny you mentioned that and we do get a lot of engagement on our reviews. So that's cool.
I also enjoy on our community Facebook page when someone says, I need so-and-so, before I could even get in there and let our team know, somebody else has already said, I could do that for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, we don't even have to do anything.
Well,
to helping each other.
Maybe some of our people don't know. So we have a members-only Facebook group, and that is put together where it's a great way where we're able to interact with each other. And we're either BizX is posting hot, new, and exclusive offers that are coming there first, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to have exclusive stuff where the members in that community page will get first access.
Yeah.
So.
And then members are letting people know. So we have a lot of members who want new customers or they get to promote their business to each other. And it's a great place to meet new members because they come and introduce themselves. So it really is that community, that network where that they're connecting with each other and asking questions of each other.
Exactly.
Well.
I think of late I've seen on that Facebook channel that they're sharing intelligence with each other that may not have anything to do with a specific transaction.
Yeah.
But did you think of this, or have you thought of that?
Or I need help with this. Can anybody help me with that?
It's as if social media is catching up to BizX.
Well, it's interesting. I used to say we'd have these BizX in-person networking events, and you get a few hundred people there, and it was just incredible. The connections and the camaraderie, and people were meeting each other. And I think out of that, the relationships got formed, friendships got formed, marriages happened, lots of things over the years. That's great. And a lot of friendship. And so what I always used to say, and this was prior to Facebook or social media, I was like, if we could bottle this up and keep it running 24/7, so that's one of the things that we're trying to do.
So we could have been hating on Bora instead of Zuckerberg all this time, and you missed it.
That's funny. So what do you? What's one of the coolest things that you've seen, like a transaction or something that BizX has done in your mind? Because to everybody, it's different.
Right.
And so when you hear about these transactions where we're helping members, we're adding in new members, is there, a new member or an existing member that stands out to you, or a transaction or something that kind of comes to top of mind? And either one of you can go first if it comes to one of you sooner that excites you.
Well, I think, we are... I'm always excited when we bring on a new member and we're able to do something remarkable at the beginning. And in fact, I think, as you mentioned, we work with Jay Coe at I Am Third Media.
Yeah.
Became a member of BizX, and I happened to be at an event that we were holding, and Jay had started to work with Nicholas of Chronicler Films. And that was, I don't know if it was a relationship that predated, but it was terrific to see when a member is working with another member at an event that BizX is engineering or developing. The amount of connectedness is always really heartening to see.
Great.
For me, it was the Zenith Holland spring sale.
Okay.
It was one of the first things that we put together when I got here. And Zenith Holland is a nursery in Des Moines. And when I first heard about it, I was like, how many people are going to go buy plants, and how much can she really sell? But it was very cool to see people. I mean, she has a plethora of stuff other than plants, which I didn't even know about. But it ended up doing very well because we came out with a plan of, okay, you want to host this? We'll, put together a plan. We'll put together a marketing scheme. Yep. And seeing all that come to fruition and it working, and both, everyone getting what they wanted, and she's being happy with the sales. To me, that was very cool.
I would add also, in terms of magnitude, it was really exciting to see how a company called ERTC Filing was able to work with BizX to sort of propagate benefits for hundreds of members.
Like millions of tens of millions of dollars.
That's right.
Yeah.
And because they worked with BizX, they were able to offer the membership the opportunity to get money owed them back to them using BizX dollars.
The fee paid in BizX dollars. Yeah.
Exactly.
The one that gets me, the one that I get really excited about is when we work with our nonprofits.
Yeah.
And so the Rivkin Center is a big one. there's a summer run, and we've got the auction. The run's coming up on the 16th. I'm
Yes, it
assuming
is.
you're going to be there, Mike.
I am indeed.
You're the captain
The
of
runner.
BizX. So just so we can be official, Mike is the captain of the BizX running team. and
We're slowly whipping everybody into
captain
shape.
of all things external physical activity. And the thing that I love about it is when a charity or a nonprofit, they're able to generate new dollars that come in because businesses can give more because they're not having to give cash. They can use their capacity or excess inventories. You know, it's not costing them hard cash. They can donate a little bit more freely. And then the charity can actually use those BizX dollars to offset a hard cost.
What's an example of that? Because people have seen the charities online, but what does the charity get out of that?
Okay, so a charity, holds events. So they need catering, and they need photographers, and they need venues, and they need porta potties for runs, and they need printing and T-shirts and all sorts of things to put these events on, or fundraising. So there's printing involved. Another big one is Food Lifeline we work with. We work with a number of other charities, both in like San Diego and in the Bay Area as well. And so those are real hard dollars that the charity needs to operate. The Rivkin Center pays their monthly phone bill in BizX dollars.
Oh, wow.
So there's just operating costs, printing that a business has. When those operating costs go away and they can be supplemented by new donations or sponsorships from BizX, that leaves more money left over for them to be able to actually go towards their mission.
Right.
And so I remember Joe White, the old executive director of Rivkin Center, telling me, last year we saved, 60 lives through early detection of women's cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer. And I just we helped be a part of that. And
That's
so, and helped accelerate that. And maybe people can do a little bit more, or, and so, it's Habitat for Humanity. It's all these others. I think that's one of our probably biggest underrated area, community manager. That
I trust me.
We're going to let our
I've marked
people.
it.
I think we come up with a new idea every day.
Yeah.
And I'm, it's like, okay, file that. We'll get to that.
My
one.
to-do list is just...
It's an idea list.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That was cool. Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's cool. And the Zenith Holland, so that was a great story. Coming back to that, I believe that member spent, I think, $40,000 getting her parking lot paved, and then paid for it with new plant sales, which then happened because you helped them do that. And I think that's really cool with your position, because we've got a group of people that are helping account managers, and we have our website, and it's really focused on helping people use their BizX dollars. Right. But on the other side, we have a whole contingent of members that want more BizX dollars. They want more sales, and investing more resources into that. We're starting to see the fruit. The members are, because they get new business out of it. Right. They're getting new customers. One of my favorite things is that they say a satisfied BizX customer is as good as a satisfied regular paying customer, because they get the benefits of the referrals, so the 5-star club, the reviews, which, by the way, are optimized for search engine optimization. So when somebody's looking to review a company, the BizX review will show up, which is a benefit as well.
And maybe even better, because in my experience, that BizX members tend to be business leaders who are inherently creative and enjoy sending a good lead your way, or for your way,
or they're high value. They're certainly high value because they're other business owners like themselves. And so when you get referrals from other BizX members, especially when you're working with usually you're working with the owners of the organization, but some of the other people, the owners referring to other owners.
So BizX has been existent for a couple decades.
Yep.
In total, do we have a sense of how many? How much transactions we've done?
Well over $1.5 billion. I haven't updated it in a little bit, but over it's in the billions.
So that's new business that we've been able to deliver, and cost savings or cash savings.
To our customer. Yeah, so it feels good. But
so going off of that, 20 years ago, Baby Bob, when you're sitting there seeing where BizX is going to be in 20 years. Are we where you thought, or past it, or, the vision you had, did it come to fruition?
It's getting there.
Yeah.
I think it's still, I don't think it's ever done. I think what we can do, what we're doing today is incredible. This idea of barter exchanges have been around for a while, but I don't see ourselves as just a barter exchange. And I think we've kind of conquered that part of it, where the real opportunity is to be, to really be a partner, to be that network, to be that extension. And so I remember one of the things I always talked about, Chris and I, my co-founder, we talk about is as a business owner, you've got your accountant, you've got your lawyer, and then you've got BizX. We want to be one of your top 3 on the speed dial or on your computer browser to help you. And I think we're starting to see that. And you hear us talk about, are we part of your strategy? And when we see that, and the types of goods and services that you could today buy in BizX are, they're incredible compared to what you could have done 20 years ago. So on that note, it's getting there. And I think our opportunity is to grow. And how do you make this ubiquitous? Larger, more liquidity, more members. It's if we can do what we're doing in the markets that we're in and really, scale, and looking at ways to partner with other networks or organizations to be able to bring this value to them.
What happens for a business when we are part of their strategic planning, or when we're involved in how they're operating their business?
Well, I think the difference is, and initially when you start, is you're very reactive. How can we help you? And we're very kind of the afterthought, or it's the nice to have, or I can help you. So we can help a business. We have a plumbing company we work with in Seattle that when we started working with them, 15 years ago, they were maybe $4 or $5 million in revenue. This year, they're going to do $60 million in revenue. And so, BizX is about new customers and better cash flow. And if we can see, okay, this company wants to invest in advertising, this company wants another company, their strategic plan is to grow multiple locations. It's to, open up a new product line. It's to, whatever it is you want to do to grow your business, there's probably a way that BizX can help you accelerate that in 2 ways. One, it's going to cost money to do that. So you're going to invest capital rather than having to invest cash. You can use BizX dollars. So you're going to save cash dollars out the chute. And then on the flip side of it, if you're investing in, let's say, a new location or a new product line, you're going to have more capacity. And so the BizX brand promise of being able to bring you new customers in the door. So you'll be able to hit both of those at the same time, and it really can turn into a quantifiable multiplier effect to grow the business and market share.
Yeah, exactly. And we talk about that a lot when I'm talking to businesses and educating them and telling them a little bit about BizX. What resonates strongly is that it affects both the top line and the bottom line of a company.
Yeah. And I think we're working on some tools, like one of the things I want to do, and I think we talked about, is some easy calculators. Here's some, an easy way, rather than just to verbally explain it or do it in the back of the napkin. It's like, here you go. And it's like, but yeah, top line and bottom line effect.
So in the morning when we come in and there's an internal tool that we use called Trade Exchange, TradeX.
Yeah.
To get in, you type in your name and your password, and you hit a button, and that button actually says "Change the World." Why does it say "Change the World"?
Yeah.
Well, I think we are doing part of that.
Yeah.
I think it sounds kind of corny to a point.
Not to me.
Like if you ever watched that TV show Silicon Valley.
Exactly. I
don't want to be that guy. This isn't Hulu. And that's why I didn't talk about it. But I feel like we are, and maybe we update it to we're not changing. We are changing the world in a way, but we're changing it business bit by bit.
Right.
And I think every single day we touch a small business, right? I think another thing I've seen somewhere is every time you buy something from a small business, they do a little happy dance, right? So we get to do that. We get to promote that, and we help create solutions that wouldn't have been possible. We make the impossible at times possible. Right. That's what's really, really cool about what we do. And I think we are, we're not quite at changing. We're changing the world bit by bit because we're doing
Absolutely.
good. Everybody has the power to do that, and we're getting there. But you notice that it's kind of funny. We put that. I think that got put there, and now you got me excited, Mike. Well, it's like you say as an entrepreneur, you say stuff like that, and I could just see people rolling their eyes, or sometimes you're shy about it, right? I could be shy about it, but truly that's where the passion was, where we came from, is that we really think, with our purpose, small business is the backbone of this country. Okay, 90%, over 95% of all businesses in the United States are small and medium-sized businesses, right? We represent about 45% of the jobs. We represent, I think, a third of the overall GDP, or maybe a little bit less. But these small and medium-sized businesses, that's where the growth comes from, the entrepreneurs. And you're starting to see all these, when people are leaving the big corporations, they go and they start the corporation. They start these small businesses. And every big business was a small business, right? Amazon, Microsoft, all Starbucks, they're all a small business at one point. And small business does so much for the communities that we're in, where we live, where our children live. And so it's the charitable giving, it's the soccer team, it's the community organization, it's Rotary, it's the chamber. And I would say, we're a BizX is a sub-community within a community of small businesses. And that small business community in the United States I think it's very underserved.
I agree.
I think the SBA does some great things. And whatever they did during PPP, hats off to you. It doesn't matter who is in the White House. I don't care. But they pulled it off, and they got dollars into people's accounts, which was important. But I think there's something beyond that, right? That's, there's the SBA. They do their thing. They provide lending and liquidity, super important. And then there's other things, and I think we fall into that bucket where we can do that. And I think if small business is strong in your community and they are growing momentum, I think the communities flourish.
Well, I've heard you talk about a story with regard to Bullseye Creative and the difference that BizX is able to make for them.
Yeah, and actually Peter was on a show, but he was, I think this was early on in their day, but we calculated, they had done, I think at that time, maybe, $100,000 in BizX, and they calculated, well, this helped increase my cash flow to the tune of, $60,000, $70,000 this year. And because of that, they were able to go out and hire more employees. So creating employment, or they can invest into capital, into buying real estate, or they can invest into expanding their operation. And so because small businesses tend to invest back into their business and back into their people and back into the communities, and they tend to patronize other small business. So, where possible, this means you, everyone, whether it's BizX or not, BizX is smarter because you'll save cash, but definitely try to use a small business before you can use somebody else. Why not? If the price is the same, right? The quality is the same, it might be an extra phone call versus being able to one-click it. That's fine. But why not invest in your community, into your into that? And that's kind of what BizX does. It kind of forces you to do that because it forces you to buy back within your community. And there's a lot of community programs that have tried to do things like that, but it keeps money local. But yeah, that to me, there needs to be more. I think overall there could be more things. I always think about what else I could be doing, and that's what you do, Mike. You're out, fighting the good fight every day. Talking about that.
Yeah, and what I hear every day is that businesses are they're optimistic about the future, but it's a challenging time. They don't have enough resources.
Cautiously
optimistic. Absolutely. And
so what is the feel on, you talk to a lot of business owners. What are the top 2 or 3 things, and specifically that you're hearing about today? Because the Fed just paused their rates. Yeah. Right?
Exactly.
And then today I read Jerome Powell, more rate hikes to come.
Exactly. I fully expect another rate hike. So yeah, I think that.
So what are you hearing on the street? Like what are the businesses saying?
There's been concern about inflation, but that's waning a bit. There's now a real concern about capitalization, getting the access to
the capital
dollars, the capital they need in order to grow.
So are they finding that credit is tightening up?
Credit is tightening up, but interestingly, they still want to grow.
Yeah,
you're not pulling back.
No, everybody wants to grow. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Yeah. But when the bank is, car loans they're not underwriting. Like I think I read something somewhere that some not auto dealer, but some banking group that did auto loans just got rid of all their they're not doing auto loans anymore, or they're not doing these things. So tight credit standards are tightening.
Credit, it's harder to get what they need, but there's still a focus. Their eye is on growth. And they fully expect the future to be bright. They just need and want help in getting from A to B.
And Emily, do you? I'm assuming you don't talk to as many members one-on-one like Mike does.
No.
What are your feelings about the economy as a consumer, as Emily Rains from West Seattle with a boyfriend, a dog, and and Emily's a Swiftie, I've learned.
Yes. Huge fan.
She's already sorry, I gotta break. She's already
I got my costume figured out for the concert.
Which I thought was a thing, so I went home and I got really lucky and I ended up, thanks to a good friend, was able to get some tickets for my daughter, and then I, my wife and daughter are planning outfits, and I'm like, what?
Oh yes.
And I'm like, this is a whole thing. Great. So, well, we'll come to that later. But I forgot this. I was going to say that, but as we talk about the economy, as a consumer, what do you feel? What do you hear?
Everything's getting so expensive. Everything's getting so expensive, and so it makes me as a consumer want to buy less because I want to hold on to my money because you don't know what's going to happen. And so, I mean, if I could hold on to my money and still buy, I'm all in.
So. Exactly. More of your money.
Right.
You buy, with business. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And you both have used BizX dollars personally because you get perks accounts through BizX. So what's the coolest thing? You're fairly new still, or
I am still fairly new.
What have you got your eye on, or what have you been able to use your BizX on personally? That was cool.
In fact, it was Mother's Day.
Okay.
I took the family to Wooden Creek, the wonderful restaurant in Woodinville. Operated by Tim
Short.
Yeah.
And he also owns Redmond Bar and Grill.
Exactly. And how much fun it was in that moment to take out my BizX card and pay with BizX. And impress the family with what I felt. This is the great thing about BizX. When you use it, you feel like you are a VIP because you're able to get what you need without digging into cash.
And what about you? Or what do you have your eye on?
So it changes daily because we have the perks account where it's more consumers. I look at everything. So every day it changes. So today it's a massage. I really want to go get a massage. The big prize that I would want and love to get eventually is the trip to Fiji.
Okay. Cool.
Maybe a honeymoon, I don't know, one day.
Well, we've done a number of weddings using BizX.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to the courthouse, so I don't know that.
You get the bouquet of flowers, wedding dress.
Exactly, the wedding dress, that sort of thing. Yeah.
On that note, I got to tell you a funny story about when you keep continuing, but I got to tell you a funny story about getting
the
married.
other thing that I have my eye on is whitewater rafting.
Oh yeah.
I've never done it. Blue Sky Outfitters has it, and it looks so cool.
Maybe that should
I'm
be a
trying
company
to get
event.
it to do a company event, and everyone's like,
no, just talk to Mish, if you're watching, Mish, just work it out. I don't need to know. Just tell me where to be.
Although Dee said we'd have to tie her to the boat because she's afraid she'll fall out.
Who?
Dee is one of our smaller employees. She's afraid she'll fall out of the boat.
Okay.
So she's like, you got to tie me to the boat so that I won't fall out.
Okay.
But yes, exactly.
So funny story. I get a call. This is the early days of BizX, and I get a call from a member who's a lawyer, and he's like, do you have a florist? I go, yeah, here you go. I go, are you in the doghouse with your wife again? You need flowers? He said, no, my law partner, he's got a shotgun wedding. They're having a kid, and there's a wedding coming up. I'm like, that's great. I go, well, here's the florist, here you go. And he goes, so do they need a caterer? Yes. Do you need a venue? Yes. DJ? Yeah. Photo booth? Yeah. I think what else was there? I said, and what are you getting him for a wedding gift? He goes, I don't know. I go, do you want to buy him like a trip for the honeymoon? He goes, this is great. So
One-stop
shop.
Nice.
But we actually have like an event checklist, then we have a wedding checklist. So thousands of weddings have been done or partially done. Yeah. Photographers, videographers.
We should have a registry on BizX.
The BizX registry. Yeah. We've also had divorces on BizX because the divorce lawyers.
That's nice. A whole lifetime value.
No, I think we've gotten the complete cycle, like from birth growing in. We've had college courses over the years.
Mm-hmm. We do have tutorers, student
tutorers.
circle.
You've had preschools.
Build your house.
Do
wonderful.
all that stuff, right? I think get
Estate
divorced,
planning.
estate planning.
What a
We
great
just don't have the
story.
caskets yet on track.
Well,
But everything else has happened.
Wow.
Well, this has been fun. Give me favorite, funniest office moment. Can I do a rapid fire here?
Well,
Just a couple
Yeah.
things?
we do great Halloweens.
Okay.
And everybody dresses up and carves pumpkins.
Okay.
And we set aside the latter half of the day and dig into a lot of fun. I think one of the things I really value about BizX is the team feel, the camaraderie.
Yeah.
Everybody gets along really well, and it's a group of people who are very much people oriented. That's the business, is intelligent matchmaking and dealing with people. So it's a ton of fun anytime we get to celebrate.
So we actually have, everybody's talking about AI. We have real eye.
Yeah.
Mariners game.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah.
But not just the Mariners game. Both of you stood up and started dancing for the Jumbotron, and I could not get my phone out fast enough to get moves in. So next time I'm getting you.
It's
But yeah,
attention, interest, desire, action. Those are the four things.
the camera guy's coming up the stairs, and Bob goes, "Hey, us, pick us!" and starts dancing. There we are on the Jumbotron. So yeah, that was
we get
funny.
the replay. Okay.
know.
Okay. Funniest.
What was yours?
So many over the years. I don't know. The favorite memory.
Yeah. You put us on the spot.
Oh man, now I am on the spot every day. No. Favorite memory. I think doing these podcasts are so much fun. I think I love it when we're all together in the team, at the end of the Monday morning meetings when we kind of just sink in and we're all sharing and brainstorming and ideas are flowing and there's creativity happening and we're capturing that. And I feel like my job has gone from being kind of the one doing it all to now it's just more of a catalyst and things are happening. So that's super exciting. Okay, funniest team member.
Oh, well, gee. I actually am going to say D. And I will say D because she sometimes flies under the radar, but she is hugely funny.
She's got okay. And you?
I'll say Real, who's in accounting, because his laugh is so contagious, and he's right next to me in the cubicles, just on the other side. Yeah. I don't even know what he's laughing at, and I start laughing because he's just got a boisterous laugh. So
That's awesome.
It's funny to me.
Okay, laughs. Jennifer's got
Jennifer.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
there's a video. We'll talk about that offline. What as a entrepreneur, CEO, feedback for me. What could give me some good feedback on what I could what we as an organization could be doing better, different,
I'll tell you what I love that you do that I think you and we should all do more of. And this was at the Northwest Event Show that you gave a presentation.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think we talk about BizX as a tool for when a company needs help.
Yeah.
And it is that.
Yeah.
But what you did at the event show and what you've done in presentations since is focus on the fact that companies, they have excess capacity to do business. So in effect, they're richer than they think they are.
Yeah.
There's an optimistic message there that I think really is strong. That yes, BizX can be a great help to get your business where it needs to be, but recognize with BizX that I think you said it that there's some people look at it as a glass half empty. Some people look at it as a glass half full. BizX can fill the rest of the glass for you. That's the opportunity. I think we should talk more. I think you
said it really well.
I think you said that. I think that that you as you to communicate the future visions I think we
So I
should
could do a
that
better
more
job,
and more.
better job at doing.
More
I was
and
going to
more.
almost say Mike could be a great politician because he completely sidestepped the question. But I think you did
Right?
come out at the end. So doing a better job at communicating the future vision and how we're going to change the world.
and how bright it could be.
Yep.
Okay, can I sidestep too? Because it is something that impresses me that I think we should continue to do. But one of the first things you said to me was not everyone gets to be in BizX. Because, yeah, we could as a company take everyone's money because that's what a lot of companies do. But you said to me, no, if someone's not a good fit, we won't put them in. If we don't think they can make a sale or, they're in Arkansas or whatever. So I think if we can just continue to draw that hard line of like...
We like people from Arkansas, by the way.
We do.
We will be in that market one day.
But I'm saying, if you have a no shipping...
Yeah. If they can't... Yeah.
So I think we should continue to do that because it is a privilege to be a part of BizX, and we want to continue to have our members have the best experience with other members that can bring them something.
And that's going to be a big theme for what we're talking about in
Right.
the future.
Yeah.
Really about how we're upping our game and what we're doing and ensuring that our members are having a great experience. But yeah, any advice for me?
So put on the spot. You have a very big boisterous voice, and I know that it's not in a negative light, but
Yes.
sometimes it is just bobbing. So maybe just throw a smile in there every once in a while if you're not upset with it.
Yeah. No, okay. Well, it kind of goes along. Jay apparently had my children on this show or a
Yes.
show. And did you hear what my son said?
Don't yell. Stop yelling.
So I'm not yelling.
Yeah, you're not meaning to, but it's just
I'm not yelling.
booming
It's just I'm
voice.
loud. We had to. You're not the first one to say that.
That's my advice.
Okay. Maybe I'll have some sort of mute button or some
Yeah.
sort of volume.
Yeah.
decrease.
You just get excited.
Okay. Yeah, I do. It's like my little puppy.
You get earplugs on BizX, I think.
There you go. So what's one thing you guys are looking forward to in the next, year, 6 months, 2 weeks, other than me going away on vacation?
I'll take it. Events.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. We've got Wicked Raps on August 2nd.
No, it's called
It's called our Cocktails and Conversations at Wicked Raps.
Wicked Raps.
We're going to do that. We're going to have a member appreciation night at Evergreen Speedway.
Yeah.
We're going to have more events like a holiday party and stuff. So I'm super excited to get more members in where we can shake hands, and especially me that doesn't get to go out as much as
and
y'all.
we're going to try to get back down to Southern California, San Diego, and the Bay Area again. So we're excited about that as well.
And the Rivkin Run, which, and
Rivkin
we
Run.
are inviting members to join our BizX team.
Yeah, hopefully
at the Rivkin Run.
that's
Yeah.
Well, great. This was a lot of fun. I was like, when we talked about this, I'm like, okay, what are we going to talk about? But I think I could be here for another little bit. I think, we should have cocktails and conversation here next.
Exactly.
Well, that was great. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you,
and
Bob.
Burke. When's the next marathon?
It is in November. It's probably going to be in Florida. They have this marathon that runs along the Space Coast, past NASA, and you get this huge medal at the end that looks like the Voyager spacecraft.
Nice.
Great. Thank you, Emily.
Yes.
And thank you, Jay. Till next time, we're out.